YouTube's now?
I did.
Yeah, got the YouTube thing going. I figured I made that video like you were suggesting and put it up there. And I was like, why don't we just attach the RSS feed to it, and then the listeners have another option.
Right. That's what I said.
Right. So yeah, we can kick this thing off.
Okay, go ahead.
Welcome again to another episode of Drake and the Maestro. Almost relevant now on YouTube.
You can see our recut hurricane commercial on there for the RHO.
That was the thing that we were talking about last week. I saw that ad come out and I was just like, oh my goodness, they missed it. They're pushing this new hurricane engine, and yet why aren't we using Scorpion's Rock You Like a Hurricane?
Yes.
Anyway, so we fixed it. Although they did come out with another ad for the RHO with it doing RHO trucky things and kind of a slamming soundtrack, but it was still in the more the if there was a way to get elevator music and dance club, that's kind of what they did. They kind of did a dubstep version of elevator music for it.
Is that like doing a spoken word version of a rap album?
Yeah, they found a way. Yes, they found a way.
It's not necessarily good, but they definitely found a way.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Are they afraid to use? I mean, the Scorpions were very generous in allowing us to use the music for our ad. So I'm sure Stellantis can work it out.
That's because they're not Steven Seagal with his reggae album.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Was putting up the.
We're gonna talk about it just because I want to see if he does it again. Bring it on, Steven Seagal.
That's right.
I'll watch you fatly walk around corners into a courtroom.
So I'm getting all the episodes are going up, and I get a copyright warning, and of course, other things are kind of an issue, but they're all okay. I mean, we're all good, except the one episode, like Moracchioli, he was kind enough to say, yeah, go ahead, Superstition, it's out there, do it, do your thing, do the thing, right? Everybody was cool.
We actually got permission from Leo.
Yeah.
Neat.
So everybody was cool, except for Seagal. He's like, no, man. No,
man. Like, you guys talked too much on that episode. Well, if you didn't suck.
That wasn't it. He just subjected. He's like, nah, you can't release that. You can't, monetize, I guess, was the problem. Because he's trying to monetize it in certain regions. What?
Is that the elevators in hell? Are those the regions?
I don't know. It's got to be, right?
That's the only place that deserves to be played. I can't imagine subjecting people to that. People subject themselves to that willingly.
Oh, and the only other objection came from Firesign Theater. The beer. Yeah, that's that commercial we did with the Beer Whiz beer.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Firesign Theater. So,
a bunch of nerds.
I promised to give them proper attribution, which is in the credits of every podcast now. So they're happy.
Okay.
So there you go.
Well, that's all I'd ask for. Hey, if you're going to use my stuff, at least put my name in there.
Yeah. I mean, fair use. It just the commercial's a little bit longer than fair use. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Enough inside baseball. If you guys want to see the ad for the Ram RHO that we did, it's on YouTube. And you just search for Drake and Maestro.
Yeah, you'll find our podcast and that commercial.
Right. Or you can search for the channel name is Drake and the Maestro Fix Stuff. And you can search for that too, because periodically Drake and the Maestro do get together and we walrus our way into little projects and fix stuff. So
it's true.
That might do those videos. Eventually. Those videos could end up on that YouTube site. You better be ready for a couple of walruses to
walrus their way around things.
That's right. So if you want to see a couple of
one old mildly, and one not as
old, mildly overweight walrus type, going out there and flopping their way through some repairs of things, well, then that channel's for you. But there's no guarantee on how often those kinds of videos will get put up because we're very rarely in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, some people say we're the same person, but
Right, it's kind of the Dread Pirate Roberts thing. Although the wheelchair
or Batman,
the wheelchair does kind of give me away now. So
No one's perfect.
Right. So do you have a thing from the weekend, or should we get right into my issues?
No. Let's just go straight to yours. I don't. Most of the stuff that I have doesn't have much of a payoff, so it's just kind of like, oh yeah, I got in an argument with the security guard about where to park the truck. That's about the most interesting thing that happened.
Two homeless guys having the bum fights.
And the bum fights. At the bum fights that didn't really that didn't really go anywhere. It just kind of. So you go get out of here.
Maestro was at a Comic-Con and he was having breakfast at a breakfast place.
That's an anime com.
Oh, is it? Okay. See, shows you how much in touch I am.
It's okay.
And so
the
apparently
general smell, the way you can tell the difference is the general smell was better at the anime con than the Comic Con.
I'll take your word for it. Ew.
Yeah. Well.
So apparently the in-meal entertainment was having two homeless guys duking it out over the last bottle of Ripple or something.
At the Bevix has guys dance on the counter. This place has homeless people come in and fight for your entertainment, I guess. I don't know. Could just be a byproduct of Milwaukee. Who knows?
I don't know. I know more about Herbie K's Diner in New Jersey than I do Milwaukee. So, you know.
Yeah, well, you don't want to know anything about Milwaukee. Other than
apparently
it's pronounced Milwaukee. And it means
which means
the good land.
The good land. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Wayne. Yeah. All right. So I'm going through beginning of the month. Going through the monthly bills beginning of the month, and yes, and so I'm going just taking a look at the stuff that comes in paperless, which I don't like, but some things do.
Old, but it's all right.
And guess who can't still figure out how to create the proper bill?
Yeah, it's the water people, isn't it?
It's the water people. Yes. As you remember, last month I ate some crow. After being frustrated with their billing, I ate some, and I asked to be taken off their premium program. And then
right before the major service.
Right. And not talking it over with my wife. And then said, you get put back on that billing service because they're going to fuck. Yes, dear. So...
Yes, dear.
I ate the Corvid and it got put back on, and then here comes the bill. I'm just checking the bill to make sure it's right. It's in the. Now the interesting thing is, what they sent this time wasn't some weird flow chart. It actually said pay this amount. It actually had a thing. It looked just like the paper bill, except it was electronic. So that's an improvement. Right?
That is an improvement, indeed.
It's an improvement. Yes. Instead of having to subtract column A from column C into a derivation of radical integers, and then,
Yes, the square root of pi, yes.
Right. And I said, pay this amount. And I wait a minute, it's double.
Well, but why, though?
Right. So I call him up. I'm like, why is this double? And she's looking at it. She's like, well, it looks like you're getting charged for two systems. So I'm like, right. Why is this double? I have one system in the house, it's filtering and water softening and RO for drinking water, and that's one system. And it's like, yeah, I see, it's just been doubled. I'm like, right, it's doubled. Why is it doubled?
Why is it doubled? But why is it doubled?
Right. Did somebody check a box that shouldn't have been checked or something? Because that's what I hear before.
We didn't check this
box. Right. Your boxes weren't checked. I'm tired of not having my boxes checked. Did somebody check my boxes and check too many boxes? Did they check them twice? Box. Did they look for see who's naughty or nice? No. I don't know. Then she provides the answer. I don't know. And then, so she's like, well, I'm going to have to check with the supervisor of the software or whatever, and then they can use an administrative code and then make a change and whatever, and it'll be fixed by next week. I'm like, well, right, but there's an auto billing cycle coming. Remember, we set this up for auto bill, and I don't want to take it off auto bill because we all remember what a hullabaloo that was last time. So is this going to be corrected before the billing cycle? Oh, yes. I'm like, great.
Oh, yes, of course.
I'm like, well, then will you call me when you get this straightened out? Well, I guess we could, which means she's not planning on calling back to confirm?
No. Why would you do that? That would make sense.
Why would you? Exactly.
Come on now.
So I'm going to have to...
using some kind of logic here? What is this?
So once again, I'm running the show, and I guess I'm going to start subtracting an amount from my own time.
I think I figured out what you can do for a job. It just came to me.
Okay.
You should just go be their office manager. Obviously, they need competent staff.
Yeah, and because the office manager's out running around with taking care of Craig's job or Greg's job or whoever
Greg's
that guy
job,
is
yeah,
that can't
Greg,
do his job.
Joe.
Maybe they could just fire him and hire me.
You'd be better
And
than
then-
him, although I think your problem is going to be that not a lot of houses are ADA accessible.
Well, no, because he's not going to the houses. He's doing the officer's manager's job. So I could
that's
just
right,
do the
yeah.
officer's manager's job, and the officer manager go out and do his job.
Right.
Problem solved. And I just wheel myself
solved.
in behind the computer and answer the phones. And,
Yeah, they don't even have to provide you an office chair. You bring your own.
it's on the computer. I don't have to go anywhere. That's right.
Yeah, but then, you know how
What?
people are about their offices and office time and work from home.
All right, fine. But I'm not getting up before noon.
You might have to.
Nope, sorry. I do my best consulting after 12.
After dark. Consulting
That's
after dark. Is that?
Well, yeah, we did a lot of that. Remember? I mean, we'd set the table during
yeah,
the day.
that was
and
most
go
of our-
in. Yeah.
Most of our jobs were after dark.
Yeah, because what business wants their whole business is uprooted and taken offline?
Also, who wants
For-
to see two walruses walrusing around their office while
Well, we're
everyone's
going to
there?
find out when we put up that first YouTube video.
Well,
Okay. So I guess what I'm going to do
hey,
here
maybe it'll
is
go
I'm gonna-
super viral.
Yeah, maybe. Just as a
Maybe
freak
Eagles
show,
will-
right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'll take freak show. I'll take freak show views. I don't. I'm not picky.
I'm going to have to call the water company. I figured it out. I'm going to give them like today. That's kind of a Monday's putting out fires.
Mondays
day,
are
right.
Mondays putting out fires day.
So Tuesday, I'm going to give them Tuesday, and then if I don't hear anything by Tuesday, I'm going to call Wednesday. Besides,
Works for
I'm
me.
having my teeth scraped tomorrow, so that should be fun.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you're yearly scraping, huh?
Like once a decade, whether it needs it or not.
Uh,
I'm
Yearly
way overdue. Yeah, I'm way overdue. And anyway, so we're gonna do that, and that's we'll see. We'll see if they can get it right.
I doubt it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You should just go be their office manager.
Yeah. So while I was down there, because the water company is right by.
The next time you call them, just be like, "Hey, do you guys need an office manager?"
No, I'm absolutely going to do that. Absolutely going to do that. I'm just going to say office help. Like maybe some
an
computer
office
help
helper, like maybe like someone that does like more billing stuff, and
or computer help. Something like that.
Yeah.
So, I'm right by the water company is one of those rural supply places.
Is it like a Runnings or like a Big R? Or...
Yeah, one of those kind of
Tractor
things.
Supply.
Tractor supply. Yeah, one of those kind of things. And it's one of the bigger ones. And I go there because I like to get my rural supplies, right?
Yes.
So
Does that mean your
was
supplies are far away from everything? They're rural supplies?
we're rural. They're rural. Everything's rural. Yeah, there's a lot of distance. And I get
There's a lot
these
of distance involved.
because we get like the energy company can't keep like the wind blows wrong and we lose power. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I
they
have-
sneeze funny and all of a sudden all the
Right.
power's out again.
you look at a light pole cross-eyed and the whole town's plunged in darkness. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. What did I do?
Or you lean on the telephone pole. Oh, the bear leaned on the telephone pole again.
Yeah, or the squirrel runs across the wires and the lights flicker in the house. Like, wait, stop.
Right,
don't-
exactly.
Yeah. Why are you shooting at the squirrels? Well, I'm trying to record my TV shows. How does
Yeah.
that? Well, the squirrel runs on the line, the lights flicker, power goes up and down, DVR reboots, and I miss, and it's going to be right in the middle of the apex climax of the whole episode, and I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, it's right when Stefan is going to reveal who his long lost twin evil brother is, or whatever.
Right, or Steven Seagal's finally going to waddle around the corner and hit somebody. You never know. Anyway,
Yeah, find
so
a
we get
cheeseburger.
these. We've got this. As you've seen, we have this catalyzing wood stove insert in the fireplace. That
What'd you call me?
catalyzing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I heard it right.
It allows you to use a very small amount of combustion air, and you get your fuel kind of glowing and smoldering, and it turns and then it burns the smoke. Catalyzes the smoke and turns it into like heat, big time heat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that thing will heat the whole house. It's just amazing.
Yeah, well, you don't
and
want to be
so
sitting next to that when it's going.
instead of burning logs, we burn compressed wood blocks. It's like from they take wood blocks from a cabinet shop, and it's all hardwood.
It takes sawdust.
And
It takes sawdust, and they compress it into a block.
Yeah, right. Instead of it getting thrown away or whatever happens to it. And the wood block, they're really cheap. And one bundle of wood blocks is good for over an entire day of heat, depending on ambient.
Yeah, because it burns slower because of all the extra material and it being compressed and whatnot.
Yeah, and then we just, it's great. Anyway, so this supply place has them. So I'm down there because we get the polar vortices, Texas-ese.
Vortices?
Yeah, those things. And then don't want the house pipes to freeze, so I'm just stocking up for that just in case. But I'm also I'm restocking because we did go through. We had power out during one of those really cold cycles, and I went through some inventory of wood blocks. So I'm restocking, and I gotta be ready for mud season because we always get lots of winds, and of course the power lines will be slinging around and they go click click click, click
swaying.
Right. So that's inevitable. And so but it's kind of a nice place. Just like they've got all kinds of rural supplies, plus they have all your treats in bulk. They got more dog treats than our doggy just goes berserk because it's like dog treats everywhere. And it's great. It's a fun place, except for one thing. And
prices.
No, prices are good.
Oh.
I had to use, shall we say, the facilities.
Uh-huh.
And I went back in there, went to the back, opened the door, and I thought I actually heard like there was music. The music changed to kind of like it's like I just entered a portal to the third world because yikes.
Oh, you've been one of those. You got one of those experiences.
It was bad. Oh.
Yeah, I had one of those yesterday in Maryville. I stopped to put truck fuel in the rental truck after driving to the convention. And I opened the stall to take a leak, and it was yikes.
Well, this was opening the door to go in. Open the door to go in the room was that way.
Yeesh.
There's a half inch of liquid covering the entire floor.
Nice.
And of unknown origin, shall we say?
If you don't know where it came from, it's always unknown.
Yeah, but you kind of know what it is, even though it's unknown.
Oh, you know. So, you don't want to know. Well, you know.
Right? Oh, you know. And so I just backed out slowly. I'm like, oh, no. This was where the decision is, you know what? If I don't make it back home and soil myself, that's better than trying to use that restroom, right?
Anything's better than that.
And my wife, she's like, you know what? I'll go too. I'm like,
I wouldn't.
I'm internally cringing, right?
Uh-huh.
I just like, okay, she comes running out screaming, right? So she goes to the ladies, comes back out, says, and sees me sitting there. She's like, did you go? I'm like, I'm not going.
I can't go in there. I'm not going in there, and you can't make me.
I asked her, well, how was your experience? It's like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, oh boy. Okay. So that means the men working at this establishment don't give a crap.
Pigs.
Or they do, and
they give them too many craps. That's the problem.
Something. So talk to the manager, who's a woman. I said,
there you go.
Yeah.
Have you been in the men's room?
Right. The ladies is really nice, and the men's room is like Jakarta. It's like a public toilet in Jakarta.
I've been to Jakarta. I've been in public toilets in Jakarta, and they're actually worse than that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In fact, if I had a choice between using that and the public toilet or the public toilet in Jakarta, I might be taking the Somalian toilet rather than whatever that was. Anyway, I just figured if I just told my wife, I said, well, we're just gonna cut this trip short and gonna head back, and because we got our wood blocks, and I'm just not gonna shop for anything else. Right, I'm out of here. And if I don't make it back, at least I know the liquid. At least I know the origin, and it's mine.
That's right. If I stain my own driver's seat, what do I really lose?
It's at least my stuff. Oh, so I talked to the manager. She's like, "Oh, well, I'll have to look at it." Like, yeah. So
yeah,
then
you will.
Then I'm looking at every man working there and kind of giving them the side eye, like, "Okay, you're culpable in this."
Which one to use, the filthy, dirty commie?
Well, they all are. They all are, because no one has stepped up and go, this has to be cleaned. Nobody?
Not my job.
Come on.
That's the attitude that prevails these days. Not my job. No, I'm not doing it.
So what does that make me? Management material? Because I sure as heck would stand up and go, this has to be cleaned. I don't care if it's me that's cleaning it, but it's got to be cleaned.
No, it just means you're gonna be put on extra detail a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the Drake will do it.
Well, Drake will do it. Hey,
no, but then you're the one doing it all the time.
I understand. As soon as you volunteer a solution, you're the one doing the solution. Yeah, I understand. But if I gotta work there, I have to do my business there, and that won't stand. That's just not gonna. Yeah, and if this just means more people will miss me when I'm gone. That's all.
Yeah, no, not for the reasons you think.
Well, I'll be gone. It won't matter to me.
Exactly. That's how I look at things.
That's right.
I'll be dead. What does it matter to me?
And I figured out why I got memory problems. I'm hypoxic.
Oh, that'll do it.
I went from remember I was studying for my blood test.
Yeah.
And as it turns out,
you were breathing hard enough, apparently.
Or too much. It's hard to say. Anyway, I'm having some.
It's hard to get the amount of breathing right, really.
Right. That's right. I've had lung problems for some time, and as well as the heart issues. So anyway, I'm not getting as good a respiration as I should. So yeah, my CO2 levels are up, my oxygen levels are down. So there you go. Mm-hmm.
Are you fixing that? Are you doing some more oxygen therapy to fix that?
The oxygen therapy won't take care of the CO2. It's an issue with the hemoglobin, and that has to do with the diabetes. And so what goes on is the blood, A1C. To those of you who are diabetic, and many of you may already know this, A1C is a measure of how much sugar is bound to the hemoglobin in the blood, right? So it takes about a month for your body to replace the hemoglobin. So if you're eating a lot of sugar that isn't getting properly handled and it's staying in your system, it sticks to the hemoglobin, and that raises your A1C. And that's how they know whether you've been bad or good. So be good, for goodness sake. As far as your diet goes, if you're diabetic. And so other things can affect that. Like in my case, the trifecta of illnesses that I've had. Or I was going to say,
is it all the sicknesses you've had?
What's a four-way win? That's not a trifecta, that's a three-way. What's a quadfecta? I don't know. Whatever it was. I don't know. Yeah. I got that. I got the cocktail of...
I think you can clear that up with penicillin.
Of viruses. Anyway, that affects blood sugar levels because it messes with your pancreatic crap, and anyway, it makes your blood sugar go up, and so that in turn makes your A1C go up. But hemoglobin is important because it transfers oxygen and then removes carbon dioxide through respiration.
Yes.
Right? So if you got too much blood sugar bound to hemoglobin, to your hemoglobin, then you can't respire as easily. So oxygen levels drop and CO2 levels rise. So now that I got my blood sugar back under control, that should
I've been known to respire on occasion.
Yes, the respiring should help. So that's good news, and at the same time,
it's news.
At least it's news, and at least we have. See, there it goes. Apparently, it's going to take a month.
Good grief.
But at least I know why, and I have a solution in here.
That died on arrival. It was DOA.
But enough about that. Are you ready for Tales of the ISP? We'll have some stories. Sure. Tales of the State Police. Tales of the Highway Patrol.
There you go. That's a better name.
There we go. We'll try that.
ISP has too many things for acronyms.
So I was just reminiscing and remembering our little. Well, I was talking with my wife about the different things that happened to us on the road when we were traveling together. Because we're watching we're watching a cop show, and the cops being particularly unreasonable, right?
As they are one to do sometimes. Yes.
Sometimes, you get the guy, So I was reminded. I was traveling back, and I get off my exit, and it's one of those weird exits where you make a left turn to exit from the interstate.
Oh yeah, the rare left exit.
Yeah, the left exit.
That
Then you go up.
That particular exit's gone now, but yes.
Right. So, and then you go up and over a bridge, and then as you come down, you're surprised by whatever's going on, because you're still kind of at highway speed, because you kind of merge off and up and over, and all of a sudden, holy crap! If there's something there, which there hardly never is, but in this case, that night there was. It was like, holy crap! There's a semi perpendicular to the road, so it's like, shouldn't have been going so fast. Anyway,
well,
I get out, and here's this like young newbie, shouldn't be on her own truck driver who got off there. She got off there and then realized she was heading into a town, and said, before I get stuck on a narrow non-truck route, I better turn around so I can get stuck here.
Right. Well, yeah, you get stuck where you are instead of stuck where you're going to be.
Correct. And unfortunately, I told her, listen, if you just pull out your atlas, you would have seen that if you go into town and then you turn right, you can go right back on the interstate, because there's another ramp there. But it's you're gonna be 10 miles out of your way, but no harm, no foul. And it's all truck route. It's all state route.
Yeah, it's that area. I've been to that area a few times now.
But then I realized that she's, GPSing and has no atlas. So
yeah, she's car GPSing, not truck GPSing.
Right. And I recommend, even though in today's world,
always want to have your atlas. You always want to have your atlas.
Yeah.
Or you want to have a truck GPS that has an atlas built in that you can reference. Either way is fine.
Something.
But you want to have some kind of atlas.
Right. Just driving blind on the Googles is probably not a good idea, especially for
the Googles is never a good idea.
So what has happened is, it goes from a split lane, one lane each direction split, to the lanes merging together with like a berm, a concrete thick curb in the middle, and then down to 2 lanes, just a standard country 2-lane state route. And where it converted, it was starting to narrow to the 2-lane country state route. She decided to do a U-turn.
Yeah, because the road's getting narrower, and she's freaking out more and more.
Right. And so she dropped. She was doing okay until the trailer wheels came in contact with the berm, right? And of course that creates a lot more demand for power to pull it. And in so doing, she's the cab's at a 90-degree angle to the trailer. So the cab's facing down the lane, but the trailer's still perpendicular to the roadway, and it's hung up on the berm. So in that position, the tractor has to pull even harder, right? To pull those wheels, to kind of skid them around at that kind of an angle. And in doing that, if you're going to do that maneuver, do it tight. I mean, jackknife it if you have to, right? As long as you're not bashing, without damage, right? As long as you're not bashing anything into the trailer, tight.
Truck.
No, I mean, it's one of those things where if you're going to commit to it. No half measures. So
you can't do that in the spread axle, but yes.
Right. No, it's a traditional dry van. Just traditional 53 foot. Yeah. She had her tandems all the way back on the trailer.
Yeah, that was her problem right there.
Right. So she dropped the drives off the road surface, right? And she had inter-axle locks, but no axle lock.
Yeah, a lot of places don't have axle locks.
Right. So she's done. She's spinning the drives and not going to go anywhere. So I'm like, let's get you out of here. So I put the landing gear down. I did the crank of shame, and boy, there was a lot of pressure on the pin. The pin made a big pop, and the trailer was like bang, and then the truck drops fully into the ditch. You know what I'm saying? It kind of tilts over. She's like, oh, I'm like, no, it's fine. It's supposed to do this. It's fine.
It does that. You get that on those big jobs.
And it was all I could do to crank that thing up. There was so much pressure on the pin.
Oh yeah, that's I've done the crank of shame before, because I high hooked myself once. Yeah. And when you got 30,000-40,000 pounds in that trailer, that crank, there's a reason that thing's got a low gear.
Oh yeah. So
because if you try to use high gear with all that weight, you're going to be muscling that thing.
Oh hard. No, yeah, I'm in the low gear. I'm putting every bit of weight I got on the thing to crank it, but we got it. And so I pull the gland hands off, and I'm like, all right. So I jackknife her back into the trailer, but her drives are on the pavement.
Yeah, to keep her drives on the pavement.
Right. So she completely jackknifed in it, rehooked the pin, and that's when the highway patrol shows up. The highway patrols, and he's walking out there, Smokey the Bear hat, leather legs, the whole thing. Got, what's going on?
Leather legs sounds like a really bad horror movie villain.
Right.
It's like Leatherface, but less interesting.
Anyway, your typical Smokey the Bear highway patrol look,
Yeah.
He's like, what's going on here? Says, well, I'm just trying to get her out of here. She was trying to turn around, got hung up. We're rehooking the trailer, and we'll get her out of here. It's like, and meanwhile, while she's doing that, I've been directing traffic because cars are coming up over the hill and slamming on their brakes and going, "Oh crap!" And I got this, and all our vehicles were dressed up like emergency response vehicles with amber strobes. It's part of our shtick, right?
Yeah, it was all shtick.
And so I got the strobes on. It's like, is that your vehicle? I'm like, oh yeah, it's keeping people from crashing into each other. Let's get that out of there. And so he puts his patrol car on the one side of the bridge, like between the truck and the bridge. Okay, so people are coming up over the bridge. At least they see the patrol car. But there's people coming around the truck, right? They're just driving around the one side, the back side. And so now they're headed right for the patrol car. And a number of people are like slamming on the brakes like, oh, patrol car, So then he tells me, and he goes over to her. He's giving her, license, proof of registration, title, insurance, whatever, insurance, bill of lading.
In the middle, she's in the middle of blocking the road.
Right. And then telling her, you get this truck out of here. I'm going to have it towed. And then he's like, and he looks at me. It's like, you can leave. I'm like, I can't. I can leave, but I'm not going to. How about that? Because you need help, officer, or she needs help. Somebody needs help. And anyway,
there's a lot of helping that needs to be done there.
He didn't care for that at all. He's like, turn off those lights on your van, and you can just go, like, because you're doing such a good job. I mean, there's tires squealing. There's tires squealing and people almost colliding. It's like when I was handling it, there was no problem.
No, so it's the end of Gone in 60 Seconds on the road.
Something like that.
There's squealing tires. There's a weird yellow Mach 1 Mustang getting driven by. It's weird. It's
right.
wild.
You're waiting for someone to come flying, bashing through the side of the trailer and flying out the other end.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Man.
I always wanted a convertible.
Dogs and cats living together. Yeah. So I told her she finished it with the trooper. He goes stomping back to the patrol car because now he realizes he needs to move it to a different spot. And I tell her, just keep hooking up. Hook up your glad hands, get your trailer connected, and I'm gonna crank the gear up, and you just drive this thing over. Just pull the trailer out of the way and put it on the side, and then talk to the officer. And so she's doing it, and I'm cranking the thing up, and we got it right. And so the officer comes back. Why is she driving away? I'm like, wait a minute, isn't this supposed to be? This is what you want, right? Unblock the road. And so he's running over and he's shining his flashlight out before the trailer even clears the road where she can park safely on this shoulder. He's like, you stop now. I'm like, what a moron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
well, they get on a real power trip when they get near CMVs. I don't know what it is about CMVs specifically.
Well, whatever it is, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with in other situations as well. It seems like once you bruise the cop ego, it's all over. With some of them, some of them are really nice. I had other encounters. Anyway, she had it handled. He's like, you can't drive away. I've already got a tow truck on the way, and she's like, I'm calling my dispatcher. Like, you didn't call your dispatcher yet. Please, do that. And the cop looks at me and says, you better go. I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here. The truck is out of the way now. My work here is finished.
It doesn't matter. She's got the truck unstuck, so it doesn't matter if you've got a tow truck on the way.
Right. Well, I think that was the problem. He's going to have egg on his face because he immediately called a tow truck. And
because the tow truck driver's going to show up and go, is the truck damaged? Well, no. Okay, then why am I here?
Right. That's exactly.
She's obviously unstuck. I'm not towing a perfectly functioning truck.
Right. Unless ordered to by the police, I suppose.
Well, I mean, the state trooper could order the tow truck driver to do it, but then
somebody's got a lot of explaining.
Yeah, they're going to have to do a lot of, like, is the truck being impounded? Because if that's the case, then what did the driver do to deserve to have the truck impounded,
Right. She made an illegal U-turn. and got herself
Yeah, but
stuck
which is
and then
not
got
some-
herself out of it.
Right, which is not
And-
something you can tow someone's vehicle
It's a
for,
ticket.
usually.
And I felt okay leaving because I was just going to inflame the situation further, right? And it kind of
definitely going to make it worse.
It bothers me when I see cops like that because being law enforcement adjacent and kind of in the business decades ago, it bugs me. You were never allowed to act like that, especially to the general public. I mean, you could be very unwavering in how you wanted to enforce things, right? But there had to be a certain amount of decorum.
No, what's decorum?
No, the same area. Do you remember when we had the black ice?
Yeah.
And that one car.
we had that lady, and we were helping the lady get push the car off the road because her
it was on the frontage road
or whatever was. Yeah, the butt end of her Sebring was sticking out in the road, and we were worried someone was going to hit it. We were making sure she was okay, and then her mom had just gotten there, and so they were figuring out what to do with the car. It's they weren't gonna. They didn't. They
that state trooper was completely different, right? Because he comes up because we were already there,
going down the line, telling people to turn around because now it was an accident scene,
right? And we got my vans up front. We got the strobes on. We're slowing everybody down, coming towards because it's that dip in the road, and it had just formed black ice, and
it was bad.
That was bad. And I'm kind of she's wanted. I got to get out of my car. I'm you don't know if you're injured. Let's just.
Yeah, that was the girl in the Sebring. No, you went to the Jeep. Yeah. That's right. I was at the Sebring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told her to stay there because she's screaming her head off.
But if you're going to be in a situation, right? And I guess she was calling. Her mother was already there. She was calling and talking to someone else on her phone.
I don't know what they were doing.
Right, and not paying attention is what's going on. And so she didn't see the Ford Escape driven by another young lady who didn't apparently realize that all the flashing strobe lights meant something.
I think you're misremembering that scenario.
No, wait a minute. She came right for me, and I had to run out of the way. She's just sliding on the ice, and we locked eyes.
Yeah, I remember. I was the one that warned you that she was coming.
Right. That's right.
It was a little SUV of some sort. And
yeah,
because
I felt the breeze. I felt the breeze behind me as it went past. I never knew a walrus.
By nothing.
I never knew a walrus could run that fast on ice.
Speaking of scraping your teeth, because the girl was in the Sebring because she was getting stuff out of the car.
Well, she was talking to somebody on her phone.
Yeah, she was talking to her mother who was in the other car.
Right, on the phone.
Yeah, because the mother didn't want to get out of her Jeep because the road was all icy.
Anyhow, she was paying attention to the phone, not paying attention to what was going on, and when she got slammed in the driver's door by that little SUV, she was, was quite a surprise and shock. What I'm saying is people in that situation head on a swivel. That's what I'm saying. That's the long way around. But the trooper was a trooper. I mean, he really was on. He was on it. He realized what his limitations were. He realized he already had help on the scene, and he made good use of us to help.
Good use of the resources that were already in place.
Right. Instead of telling us all to leave, he's got it. Well, he wouldn't have had it, just like the other guy.
No, he would have had a hard time, for sure.
I thought it was funny too. Remember the DOT guy that came by? It was in a DOT truck, and the cop's like, "Would you go down there and put your lights on and stop traffic?" And the guy's like, "Sure," and then just drives off.
The cop told me to go down and ask him to put his lights on.
Right. It was
And I went down there, and the guy was like, and I was like, "Hey, can you turn your flashers on, block this lane? So there's an accident, and the officer's asking you to do it." And he was just like, "No." Okay.
Thanks for your help.
So I went back to the officer. I was like, yeah. He says no. So I was just like, I had to go walk over and talk to him. He's like, okay, you come here and keep people from driving around the accident, and I'll go talk to that guy.
Right. Do I have to go get the other guy, the other officer?
Yeah, because
the one that's all bossy and
right. Yeah. Then he got the DOT guy to pull up next to our van and block that lane, and then I don't even know what you were doing. I think you were still picking yourself up out of the ditch. To be honest,
I was dodging SUVs, man.
No, I think you were checking on the girl in the Jeep. Because I had already checked on the girl in the Sebring, and she was okay. I told her to stay in the car. And then I checked on her mother, because her mother's car, because it ricocheted. It hit the Sebring and then ricocheted off the other SUV and then went into the other ditch. And that was because that girl, the hitter, the one that did the hitting, was on her phone.
Right. Everybody's on their phones. Okay. Everybody, this mass mayhem and chaos. We're playing billiards with automobiles on black ice, but let's get on our phones, shall we? Okay.
Yeah, no, it was great. It worked out just fine.
Yeah, it worked out. It was okay. It could have, nobody really was injured. Nobody died, and including us.
No, the cars were messed up. That was about it.
And
it did solve the problem of the Sebring sticking too far out into the road. So hey,
it did. Yeah, took care. Put it all the way into the ditch, so it was good.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out well.
Yeah, wins all around. But that was an example. That was an example of same. It was from the same trooper, the same place, out of the same, what do they call it, brigade
precinct
or whatever. District, the district brigade. This out of the same. It's just different guy.
Yep.
And of course there was. Remember, and also same area. Remember, we were driving down. We were driving down, and there was a man assaulting a woman on a car on the side of the road. Remember that? Right by the exit. Yeah, there was a dude, and all of a sudden there's this car on the side of the road, and then there's a guy reaching in the window aggressively, and we're like,
remember.
we better.
Oh, that was down here.
It was on the interstate.
Was it the interstate?
It was on the interstate. Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah, I wasn't allowed out of the van because I was younger.
You called home. I called the Braidwood Inn. He was right over by the Braidwood Inn, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, I was younger. I don't really remember that one because I wasn't allowed out of the van.
But we're both wearing, I'm wearing, it's wintertime, I'm wearing my long wool coat and my black Stetson, and you're wearing your drover's coat, and I think your
Indiana Jones hat.
Indiana Jones hat, yeah. So we're both looking, something out of or an Australian outback segment, whatever.
Either way.
And we may or may not have been smoking stogies at the time.
Yeah.
It's not that Drake and the Maestro does not endorse tobacco use at all. Send it all to us, please.
We don't endorse it, but we're going to do it.
So, and we both step out and go, let's see what's going on. And I think we took about 5-6 steps. And I look over at you, and I'm realizing what I'm wearing. I'm like, wait, hold on. she's gonna think she's about to get, robbed by the highwaymen or something, right? So I'm like, I'll stay here. Why don't you go up there, and I'll just wait here, because the two of us coming up on her, because we realized it's a woman in the car, and so we realized that she had given a ride to this guy. He didn't like how things were going, so he started beating her up.
Yeah, he wasn't getting what he wanted out of the deal.
He saw us pull up and step out, and he took off. So I guess the long coats and the Stetsons, the long coats and the Stetsons did work as far as intimidating that guy, but we didn't want to intimidate her or make her worse. Yeah. So, and again, trooper that showed up, super helpful, super good, is just the one guy at the beginning of my story. That's the guy that needs to be replaced. Maybe he can do billing for the water company or something. Get that straightened out, because troopering on that day for him was not good.
No, he was not the trooper that we needed.
Right. So, but it all worked out. It's just, what are you gonna do? So then on that disappointment, we're gonna have to say goodbye for today.
That was
right. So, keep the shiny side up and keep it between, what do you say, between the mailbox and
the mustard. The mail and the mustard.
Yes, right. Keep it between the mail and the mustard. And hopefully we'll see you all.
Mayo, okay. You old deaf memory.
You say it. So tune in next week when the Maestro says,
"Stop touching me!"
And adios.
Adios.
Arrivederci. Hasta la vista.
Adios.
Adios, muchachos, caballeros. Will you get out of here?
What part is the mail? I get where the mailbox
mail
is.
Mail would be the white line.
But what if there's a yellow line?
Mustard is the yellow line. You ever seen a yellow line on the shoulder?
Oh, on the shoulder. So you're going to keep it between the shoulder and the mailboxes in the ditch?
What? Where are you getting the mailboxes from?
I don't know. Oh, what you're saying is
and mustard. Mustard.
Oh, well,
the yellow sauce. You put on
Now
hot
that
dogs.
makes sense, right? So keep it between the yellow line and the white line. Got it. All right.
Yes. I'm gonna have to come down there and beat you again, aren't I?
Oh, why stop? He seems to like it.
Need help. I don't know what kind of help, but you need it.
Well, it's the hypoxia, but it makes for a good podcast.
Makes for something. Who knew
Fingers.
oxygen deprivation could be this funny?
It can be fun. I made a whole career
I
out of
I
being
forgot.
hypoxic.